Sometimes when you get hurt, your employer wants you back to work. You may want to go back to work. It's critical at that point in time to understand what your doctor has said about you going back to work. Because at the end of the day, the Industrial Commission is going to look towards those doctors and their opinions as to whether or not you should be going back to work. So if the doctor has you out of work, if the doctor has restrictions on you, and if the employer wants you back to work with those restrictions, that's great. As long as the employer follows those restrictions, as long as you follow those restrictions. So if your employer wants you to go back to work and you're able to, and your doctor say you're allowed to, that's great. You're back to work. Sometimes you go back to work with restrictions, and it's important that if you do have restrictions, you stay within those restrictions. If your employer asks you to do something that you know is not within those restrictions, you should just explain to the employer, I can't do it. My doctor says I can't. If he continues to insist on that, that's one time where you better call a lawyer fairly quickly, because you might find yourself in trouble. They may terminate your position because they say you refuse to do work. You get yourself into a swearing contest between you and your employer, and that's never a good place to be. Things need to be documented. The employer needs to be set straight, and that way you might be able to protect your job.